All right, guys. Good morning. Another edition of Good Stuff Daily, where we talk about kind of everything. Um, so there's some interesting developments, at least in California, and I think in a lot of different states, little by little, um, as more states and governors start to announce their plans for kind of phasing it in, opening businesses and sectors of the economy. Um, it seems like now that gyms are starting to be included, but on the back end of this. And I know Zach and Eric on this call, you guys might have seen a lot of chatter on Facebook group and a lot of kind of initial reactions. What's your guys' take on kind of what we know right now?
I mean, it's the answer that people did not want to hear, or it's a plan that I don't think has too many people excited. Delaying, I think the phrase "not weeks but months" was used, and so that's definitely a blow to the it takes the wind out of your sails. If you were expecting, anytime within the next, couple weeks to by the end of at least May to be able to reopen. And I think now they're saying the minimum is June 1st. Is that what I read?
I didn't
They
see any
yeah they
timeline, but
yeah there
I'd
was
love to hear
zero
from you guys too.
there were zero there were zero definitions of, well, I mean, there was low risk to high risk, and there were classifications of where certain types of jobs or businesses fell, but there was no absolute timeframes as like, hey, we'll get to phase 3 by July. But months, not weeks, does not indicate May 15th or
Right.
Memorial Day or 4th of July, if anything. But what I found to be more frustrating than anything else was the reversal, where at the federal level, gyms were recognized as having um, a tremendous impact on mental health and, of course, physical health and blah blah blah. So it was included in phase 1 for a reason. We obviously saw the lobbying packet, but then it was reversed in California, and it was back ended, and it was clumped with concerts and games with high attendance, high personal attendance. So that's where the eruption came from primarily the affiliate model and the micro gym model and yoga and Pilates, where it's like, hey, where in a personal training studio, when I'm working one-on-one with someone, how am I being lumped into a concert at Staples?
Right.
So what, I guess what now? I mean, we know that
Right.
at least in California, that there's probably not going to be any movement for for gyms specifically, who we're talking to, for them to be able to open up at least from the state's perspective.
Yeah,
What
legally. Correct.
legally?
Yeah.
So what do you
Yeah.
guys think? Are the different options? Because at this point, we can't afford to wait around, right? We have to take some kind of action. You have to make a decision.
Right. Right.
Either you're going to sink, another 4 months of savings, and dump it into whatever cost it's going to take to
Mm-hmm.
keep afloat,
Yep.
which for the most part, no one, a lot of gym owners are not going to last that. So
Right.
the
Right.
options are, you try to fight the government. I've seen some people mention about
Yep.
trying to sue the government. I don't know how that's going to work out very well. You have to have pretty deep pockets for that and pretty well connected.
Right.
Mm,
There's a lot of petition mentioning going around. It seems like that might be a good option to kind of just get some voice behind, what we're trying to get after. Or you kind of operate in this gray area, maybe like as a more kind of one-on-one PT type thing. I don't know. So what's your guys' take on that?
my immediate take is, regardless, petitioning needs to happen. I think you need to find out where to send, and you need to gather the forces, as many people, as many names, as many signatures as you can on a given petition, and send that petition to multiple places: senators, reps, and governors, any type of local government, city council. Send the same one over and over and over, and just change who it's addressed to. Really, just to get as many people aware of the struggle, the complaint. But I'm this like I would never want to give official advice to break the law or skirt the law or anything like that. But it's probably what I would be doing and looking to do, is trying to find some loopholes that I can manipulate that will allow me to operate and generate income. Yeah, absolutely.
I think the hard part is that we all know health and fitness, and we know how to be responsible, um, but we don't have the green light to do just that.
We're not being trusted to do that. Right.
Exactly, exactly, and that I think that's where we all feel handcuffed. Um, yeah, I mean, at this point, you can do a few different things. Again, off the record, not officially, but um, do what you have to make some noise. I think, in
Yep.
specifically in the state where, um, our sector might be kind of ignored or put on the back burner. No one's going to speak up for us. We have to speak up for ourselves. And I think, this might turn into something hopefully a little bit bigger, where it's not 10 different petitions going around, but there's one collective, massive one that I think might hold stronger weight behind it if we can get that moving somehow. Because otherwise, you're going to see a lot of gyms, a lot of studios go out of business because they can't weather a storm for, now it's been almost 2 months, and there's a possibility of this extending another 2-3 months.
Could it go another 2 months for people? Yeah. Could they survive for another 2 months? It's gonna be we'll see some closures for sure. So what do we know that would allow people to skirt or operate or generate income on some level? I know there was mention of like PT or like network training or something like that.
Well, here's the issue gyms are going to run into when they start operating in the gray. And mind you, that's like I wrote about last night. You're going to have two styles of gym owners with opening their eyes this morning and getting down to work. You're going to have those that say, I'm going to abide by the rules. We're going to simply stay closed as a business. We're going to continue to deliver our online training, Zoom-based training, relationship-based training, distance training, blah, blah, blah. The other group are going to be the ones that get to work in the gray. The problem you'll have with those individuals is that they're going to have a big issue with their waivers and their insurance. We understand that. They're going to open the door for choice. Now, just like James said, we all have an adult choice on what we do. We all have the right and the responsibility to take our own, actions into our own hands, and our clients can choose to walk down that road with us or not, right? So for example, if they're like, yes, I would like to go in today and do some exercise, they're taking their own responsibility. Does that mean your insurance will back you up if, God forbid, someone gets hurt and you are operating under the mandate? Or does your insurance deny your claim because someone fell off the pull-up? I mean, like, you got to think about those things if you're going to decide to operate in the gray. Like, you will probably not have the same protections that you had if you were operating, quote unquote, legally. But, so people will think through those things and they're, okay, hey, listen, we're going to do a volunteer day where you want to come in and operate. Here's the workout. You need to stay in your own quadrants or sections of the gym. And this is how we're going to operate until we, are in July or in August when we can, truly open the doors. And the same is, same thing Zach said. We can't tell anyone anything. We can simply take responsibility for our own rights and for our own opportunity and for our own, choice to execute how we see fit, and, do what you feel is best by yourself and by your brand, and go from there.
Yeah. So I'd like to hear from anyone watching this. What's on your mind? Like, what's your reaction? I know there's been already a lot of eyeballs on specific California. If you're in California, what is your plan? What are you going to do? At this point, again, it feels like you have to take action somehow, make a decision somehow. The time for wait and see, I think, is over, unless you do have, the luxury of rent abatement for, 6 months, and, you have a pretty good cushion to fall back on. But I think for the most of us, now we have to make some kind of decision on what actions that we can take, or what combination of actions we can take. So I'd love to see what you guys are thinking in the comments on the videos. Yeah, there's a lot more to unpack here, and we're just kind of reacting to it as we see it. You can bet that we will be discussing more of this as it kind of unfolds on more editions of Good Stuff here. With that, guys, let's break it up today. Thank you for jumping on. I know
You're welcome. Absolutely.
We'll have a lot more to discuss in the next couple of days, guys.